Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're all well out there in chat land. This is Jeremy, and I'm here to welcome everyone to the listening/viewing party for what expansion, Jean-Marc?
Villains of the Multiverse.
Multiverse. This, of course, is the second mega expansion for Sentinels of the Multiverse, the second part of Season 2, the 9th overall expansion released digitally, and the 6th boxed expansion released on the tabletop. Whew, that is a mouthful, let me tell you. If you have never been to a listening party before, it is a time where we highlight the music and art from the game unhindered by the sounds, effects, and UI that usually accompany you while playing. It is a moment we take to sort of sit back, show off the artistry that goes into creating the whole experience that you guys all know and love. We will be going through all the music coming in the next expansion, highlighting the new 3D environments, and having some commentary from the creators of each. A fair warning, though, there are more than 40 minutes of music to hear tonight. That is more than any previous expansion. As a result, we are planning to keep things moving, popping, pop, 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 moving along quite a bit faster than usual so that we can be sure to get through everything we need to and then make sure that we have still time. Uh-oh, I'm getting an echo. Am I getting an echo off of you, Jen? Okay.
Yes. Am I okay now?
Sounds okay for the moment, I hope. All right.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. So, so we're trying to get through everything so that we still have time to play some Sentinels live later tonight. You are watching Handelabra Games, and if you do enjoy the show, please like, share, follow, and subscribe. You can follow us at Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, and at Handelabra Games here on Twitch. We do host shows here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. Sentinels Live is usually Tuesdays at 7, but it's a little early tonight thanks to the listening party. Dolphins Dive is on Thursdays, and Tales from the Archive is on Saturdays, but I do want to make a quick show note. There will be no Tales from the Archive this week. For those of you who don't know, Zach is a teacher, and it is finals time, so he has got some extra work to do this week, so we're going to be giving him a week off from his usual Saturday show. And in addition to all that, we've also been doing some great developer streams during the week that focus on our upcoming game, Bottom of the Ninth. And you can get more info about that at bot9digital.com. I will put that link in the chat as well so that you guys can all check it out. So that is bot9digital.com. All right, joining me today is our in-house maestro, Jean-Marc Giffin. Say hi, Jean-Marc. And also here today is our environment artist, which is just one of the many, many, many things that she does for us, Jennifer Greene. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
All right, so Jean-Marc is going to be introducing and talking about the music. Jennifer will sort of fill in some discussion about how she makes the environments and what it took to make these particular environments. And I think that's going to be it for me. So with nothing more, take it away, Jean-Marc.
All right, so as Jeremy mentioned, we have a whopping 31 minutes of music for you to listen to this evening, which is notably more than any listening party we've had before. So as a result, we'll be keeping things, character intros and outros brief and moving quickly forward. I won't make after comments for most of the villains that already have a solo theme, since most of them are in a similar style, so you can kind of figure out what happened there. So first off, let's start with a few tracks related to this release that you may have already heard. So the very first one, we're going to kick it off with Trickster Kismet. So, after escaping the block, Kismet found a certain arcane carnival with a twisted reality that she innately understands. She has found a way to manipulate the Midway and focus her fortune with its power. An unstable trickster using the unstable powers of an unstable carnival leads to some pretty twisted and frightening situations indeed. Let's listen to Trickster Kismet now. Kismet's regular theme takes Native American instruments and applies them in unusual and untraditional ways. This time I took it a step further by applying unstable effects and distortions, as well as adding in some pipe organ to represent a crazy environment that we'll be hearing more of later in this party.
And I wanted to jump in too and say that this is obviously let the cat out of the bag regarding an upcoming variant, which is Trickster Kismet. And when Jean-Marc said that you may have heard this before, he wasn't kidding. A lot of you probably got this song in the recent soundtrack release of Vengeance, where we included this. But a lot of you might not know that this theme has actually been available for almost a year now. If you've been coming to shows, you've noticed that we sell a exclusive convention soundtrack CD collection. It's a limited edition, collector's edition, whatever you want to call it. And Trickster Kismet's theme has actually been on there since we started selling these CDs at Gen Con last year. And in fact, someone in the chat very recently said, "Oh, I found the little secret that you hid on disc 3." And Jean-Marc actually wrote this way before we ever actually built Trickster Kismet in the game, because we knew we wanted to include it on that CD. So that was a little fun little Easter egg. If you want those CDs, at least for the foreseeable future, you will need to either come to a convention or find someone who has been to a convention. And there will be more CDs coming in the future. All right, take it away, Jean-Marc.
All right. So, next up, we've got the operative. After working for most of her life under the chairman, a mortal injury left the operative on her deathbed. Her body was sent from Rook City to the temple of the mystic known as Zhulong, where he brought Sophia back from the brink of death, but at the cost of her servitude. She now had to repay her life debt as an agent of Zhulong. So, that character comes from a particular environment called the Temple of Zhulong. Hidden in the Himalayas, the Temple of Zhulong is a mystical fortress filled with many magic secrets hidden from the world. It is full of apprentices, wards, and assassins who are deep in debt to Zhulong, as he has the power to cheat death. The ancient purveyor of life and death holds the keys to certain doors which should remain closed.
All right, welcome back from your trip to the Temple of Julong. I know that there is a little bit of hiccuping happening in the stream, and I apologize for that. I don't know why Game Show is acting a little funny tonight, so I hope that doesn't screw up anybody's enjoyment of the music. But remember that we are going to be posting all this stuff to YouTube, so you should be able to hear it unmolested. Plus, when we release the soundtrack, you'll be able to get it without those hitches. We promise the soundtrack will have everything work out great. And because we've already heard the Temple of Julong before, and we actually went over it in the Season Pass preview pack, way back when. If you want to hear a little bit about the making of that environment, Jen talks about that in that one, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. All right, what are we listening to next, Jean-Marc?
All right, next up, we have Ambuscade. Movie star turned hero hunter Anselm Moreau has formed his own hunting party, the Slaughterhouse Six. More dangerous as a team, the Slaughterhouse Six is a threat to the safety of many heroes and their allies.
Yes, just let me see your face. Nope, he won't let you.
Alright, next up we have Biomancer. Biomancer combines his vast knowledge of chemistry, biology, and necromancy to create grotesque flesh children to follow his commands mindlessly. He has also survived for a long time by animating his own flesh and replacing parts as necessary. Every living being is a potential test subject. For this one, the aim was a dark science vibe, as opposed to mad scientist vibe. The instruments reflect the general aura of a lab in which he does his experiments, and some of them have a mindless feel to them as they follow along.
Yeah, definitely gross. I know a lot of people in the chat keyed in on the sort of gross, blah, 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 mad scientist-y stuff, and I think that definitely comes across. You can see it in the in-cap image there, too, that he is really just... He's just gross. He's no good.
Yeah, I was musing while we were playing it of maybe enhancing those effects a little bit. So we'll see by the release. Next up, we have our first new environment track that we haven't played before. The Court of Blood is a lair of vampires. Fanatics, pilgrims have brought her to encounter this terrible place. Many times she has attempted to eradicate the evil beings within, but each time she was rebuffed. Thus far, no hero has been able to stand against the mighty court.
So tell us about the Court of Blood, Jean-Marc.
Okay, so for this one, I took a more traditional music approach to the vampire castle setting with majestic organ, strings, and, yes, harpsichord, using many classical techniques. So the main influences for this one were J.S. Bach and, as I mentioned in a tweet, Castlevania music, minus the rock parts, of course. And somebody mentioned in the chat why we always leave space after the main theme. And that was a deliberate choice that we made right from the beginning when we started creating Sentinels, was that every environment track would have sort of an active part and a subdued part. And that was to provide sort of variety both in the music itself, but in terms of the energy and stuff like that. Because if you watch, a superhero cartoon, there's moments where things get intense and moments where things are a little bit calmer, or moments where things are a little uncertain. And so we kind of wanted to mimic that idea, because if it's always active, you start to tune it out, or you get tired of listening to it and stuff like that. So a little more variety added, made the whole environment feel more dynamic.
Definitely. All right, so since this is our first new environment, let's hear from Jennifer. So what were some of the challenges in creating the Court of Blood?
Well, we could start with the blood. That was definitely a challenge. I think we'll probably have a whole stream talking about trying to make it look like there was blood stains everywhere. But another thing is I really wanted to have the deck back image of the outside of the building in 3D, and I spent some time working on that, and I think it worked out.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges, I think, with that one in particular was that enormous chain that sort of hangs off the side of the building, because, I don't know if you realize it when you're looking at the actual deck back, but that chain, each link in that chain has got to be 20 or 30 feet long. Just compared to a person.
And trying to make it all look like it wasn't like a toy building with that giant chain there. And also, unhallowed halls, the way the light is coming in through the windows and, hitting the floor really exactly.
Yeah, I remember actually some of the conversations about that. It's like, well, would the shadow really be coming in at that angle? Well, Adam drew it at that angle, so we got to find a way to make it look like it's coming in at that angle. But the moon is all the way over there. But that doesn't matter. Just make the shadow look like the way he drew it.
And so that's what I did. I made the shadow look that way.
Right on. Cool. If you guys have any questions about the environments, feel free to either at Handelabra Games, or Jen, are you in the chat? Cartoon Jen?
Yep, I'm in the chat. If you have any questions,
feel free to at Cartoon Jen. All right, so what's our next villain tonight, Jean-Marc?
All right, next up we have La Capitane. 500 years ago, Maria Helena stowed away on a Spanish galleon, seeking adventure in the world. Instead, she found a temporal rift, allowing her to move through space and time. She is only just beginning to understand the implications of her abilities. Next up, we've got Bugbear. Maurice Dugal protected illicit cargo in Central America until his jungle cargo was attacked by a rival drug cartel. He sustained several gunshot wounds and collapsed. When he awoke weeks later, he had no wounds. Hair had grown all over his body, and all thanks to a bloodstone that he had fallen on. Now as Bugbear, he prowls the jungle, the bloodstone giving him an insatiable hunger for larger and larger prey. Greater Than Games requested that Bugbear's music be very tribal, savage, and unrefined. There are all kinds of percussive sounds in this one, from various natural objects mostly, and they lack tuning or even perfect rhythm. So I was kind of concerned about how it would mix with all the other parts, which we've been testing, and I actually find it mixes very interestingly. So
It does.
All right, next up we have Sergeant Jack Steele, and his squad of heavily armed agents are the most dangerous operatives Filter has to offer. The Block's teleporters have a lock on the rogue agent Knife's location, and Sergeant Steele is locked and loaded. So for this one, I mixed together some typical military sergeant music sounds with various sounds and motifs from, as some people in the chat have recognized, The Block. And I was actually surprised because of how well the two mix together in some really interesting ways, since it blends some more traditional sounds with some very more advanced sounding synths.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I really love about this particular theme, is that it really does, it feels like traditional military, but like futuristic, lost in time, locked in another dimension kind of stuff. It really captures that in a really interesting way. And as someone in the chat just mentioned, I bet he really does love it when a plan comes together. Amen to that.
All right, so next up we have another environment track. Deep underground, near the core of the earth, lives Magmaria, the city of the Magmen. They endlessly build and rebuild their cities of molten rock and crystalline structures, only to have them destroyed by seismic activity. Between the heat, the pressure, and the Magmen who are hostile to anything unknown, it is not a safe place for a surface dweller. All right, so there are two main elements to convey in this track. The first is the constant movement of magma and rocks deep in the earth by the magma. This is the majority of the track, as it is very bassy, as people have been pointing out, and has a sort of wavy movements of bubbles, hissing, and rumbles. The second aspect to point out, though, is the crystals. They're represented by the high-pitched sounds that break through the otherwise bassy track. Magmaria is certainly more backgroundy than most Sentinels music, but it gives it a sense of the type of environment that it represents.
Definitely. So, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about the challenges involved in creating Magmaria.
Well, the biggest challenge, at least I felt going into it, is making every camera not look the same, because the whole environment is just pits of lava. So that was the main thing I focused on for this, was like getting 12 different views that look different enough.
Yeah, and actually Jean-Marc and I were commenting while we were talking about that you did a really good job, because you can see obviously there's some cameras that are like, this is magma and lava, and then there are other cameras that's like, this is crystals, and there's other cameras that are like, these are these ever-changing sort of structures that the Magmarians are making, so it's sort of mixes between all three of those things. Very cool. All right, so again, if you have any questions about the environments, feel free to ask Jen at CartoonJen in the chat. All right, what's next, Jean-Marc?
All right. Hayden Turk has the ability to conjure a painless fire by snapping his fingers. This, combined with his chaotic personality, led to a ceaseless stream of arson incidents. Lucas Ender can teleport great distances and has a prowess with a hammer and shield. Citizen Dawn has paired these two men of drastically different personalities together, nicknaming them Citizens Hammer and Anvil. So Greater Than Games really wanted to contrast the chaotic nature of Citizen Hammer with the steady by-the-books nature of Citizen Anvil. And it took a bit of digging to discover that they didn't want it to be the sound like Citizen Dawn's theme, but more like a Rush solo. So the rhythm guitar, the drums, and the bass are all playing very straight, predictable patterns the whole time. That's Anvil. While the lead guitar is going all over the place, completely ignoring what the villain Team Victory theme even is.
Absolutely.
All right, so next up, we have Plague Rat. The mutated man-turned-rat living in the sewers of Rook City has been captured by RevoCorp. He is under considerable amounts of experimentation and is used as a tool to seek and execute key targets. All right, so most of you probably know that Plague Rat's original theme is pretty ambient. There's mostly the sounds of, sewers and rats, and there's some drums in there, but they're not playing anything particularly rhythmic. The lead for this theme is similar, with the sounds of pipes and drones and snarls. However, the supporting instruments are of the evil industrial science nature, representing RevoCorp. I actually got a little stuck making Plague Rat's leads sound just right, but John and David on the team had some great suggestions, and I think it really worked and provided some interesting contrast there.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in here and mention, you guys probably saw in the chat that John, Migrant P, said that what Jean-Marc has done with the villain team framework is nothing short of amazing, and we were actually just commenting on this. I was saying before we even started tonight, it is really, truly amazing to me how each of these themes sounds so distinct, despite the fact that they are literally the same song. They are quite literally, and in all other senses, the exact same song. But Jean-Marc has managed to make each and every one feel so unique to that hero, or excuse me, to that villain, to make them sound completely distinct. So that, listening to all 10 or even all 15 of them in a row, it doesn't really feel like you're listening to the same song 15 times. It's quite fantastic. So well done, Jean-Marc.
Thank you.
All right, what do we have next?
I have a lot of fun doing it, although it takes a lot of time.
It does, yeah.
All right, next up, we have misinformation. Amiana Twain was the administrative assistant for the Freedom Five until she was replaced by a version of herself from an alternate dimension. A version that had an extreme grudge against the very team she served. Parse saw through this disguise and dealt with her in a showdown at the Pike Industrial Complex. During this battle, some vats spilled on her, leaving her disfigured. However, it also granted her the ability to twist reality, a power she uses to turn the heroes against each other. In a previously abandoned lot, there's now a huge carnival going on. No one knows when it arrived, where it came from, or who Madame Mittermeier really is. But does it matter? It's a carnival! It's a fair! It's a festival! Let's go ahead and visit Madame Mittermeier's Fantastical Festival of Conundrums and Curiosities. What's the worst that could happen?
Indeed.
So, did you have lots of fun in the fun house? As you could hear in that track, no one is quite sure what's going on at Madame Mittermeier's. It looks like fun, but it's not. We sent this track to Adam and Christopher to get their take on it, and Adam described it as a slowly unraveling burrito of horror. I think that's about the most that can be said of it, because the less said, the better.
Indeed. So I did want to jump in. We're going to let Jennifer have her moment in just a sec, but I had so much fun cutting together the sort of listening party video for this one, because one of the things that Jean-Marc really wanted to do with Madame Mittermeier's was call out all the various pieces and parts and attractions that you see throughout the park, and I think he succeeded in spades. I mean, you got your Wheel of Misfortune, as well as the fortune teller and the midway and the maze of mirrors and the funhouse. I mean, everything is in there, and you really know where you are at any time in the music, which is fantastic. So, all right, so Jennifer, tell us a little bit about making of Madame Mittermeier's.
I really enjoyed making this environment. I don't even know where to start. There were some really specific things that had to get in here. You may have noticed the carousel of horror with the horses on fire, and but then there were some things that I added in, like the bumper cars with the spikes on them. And
yeah, I was super excited that they were cool with that, because that was like a whole creation just of Jennifer, and Christopher and I were like, yeah, that works. Sounds good.
Yeah, I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna like this, but yeah, I don't know. I thought they needed to have spikes on them, but
yeah, I mean, I think one of the issues I think we had with this environment in particular is like, how big of a space is this exactly? You know, like is it like a tiny little sort of fly-by-night operation? Does it feel like a big, huge amusement park? And I think we sort of found a balance right in between there, where it felt like this was the kind of thing that has either been here forever or could pack up and leave town the next day. And it's like right in that middle spot. Cool. All right. Jean-Marc, what's next?
All right. The last theme we have to play for you right now, and there are no surprise songs tonight because there was enough going on already. Sorry to disappointing one. But Greaser Clutch is an above-average Hepcat star-hoppin' bounty hunter. You will find anybody you want and take them out, no problem, if the money's good enough. Get your dancing boots on, Daddy-O, because this cat knows how to have a good time while he's at it. So as you can hear, Greaser's track is like an early 50s rockabilly arrangement of the Villain Team Victory theme. Knew that I wanted it to sound this way, but I also knew that I would have a hard time achieving it with virtual instruments. And since we wanted to get that feeling just right, we got in touch with fellow game music composer Elisa Menes to cover all the guitar parts. She did an awesome job at choosing just the right guitar sounds and performing them in a very 50s way. Thanks, Elisa.
Yes, super thanks to Elisa. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, we did mention that someone had said, are these real instruments or virtual instruments? And Jean-Marc said that they were virtual. And I said, stay tuned because the real instruments are coming. And that's what I was talking about. This was one of the last villain themes to get done. Excuse me, because Jean-Marc was going back and forth with Elisa to just get it exactly right. And man, did she deliver. I mean, this is just perfect. So good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is the end of the composed music. But as you guys all know, the various villain themes that you've just heard get mixed together in the game, along with the 5 from Vengeance, to create a custom villain victory theme whenever you lose to a villain team. So, we're going to take just a few minutes here to preview some of those combinations here. In the interest of time, we're not going to be taking requests because it is actually already after 7, and also because there's more than 384,000 possible combinations. Yes, really, that many. So instead, I'm just going to be randomizing them in our cool little jukebox that we have here. So, I'm just going to probably do about 5 or 6 of them, and I'm going to try and loop them equally. So enjoy. All right, so there was a bit of a cross-section of what you can expect from the cool mixed villain themes. Yes, I agree, Fright Train did pop up quite a bit in our little medley there, but that's what happens when you randomize. What can I say? All right, so now that you've heard everything, I guess we don't have to hold this under wraps anymore, so enjoy. Sorry about that, folks. I accidentally started playing another thing. But yes, as you guys can see there, we actually have a date! Hallelujah! So when will you be able to play with these new villains and environments? I'm happy to report that Villains of the Multiverse ships in just over a week. Next Thursday, June 22nd, is Villains of the Multiverse Day across all platforms. All right, so that's going to do it for the listening party portion of this evening. Thank you, Jean-Marc, for joining us. Salute!
Thank you.
And thank you, Jennifer, for hanging out. I think both of you guys are actually going to stay on and play some Sentinels of the Multiverse with us, yeah?
Yeah, I can probably do one game.
All right, awesome. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, 2 to 3 minutes, while I switch over my streaming setup here to the setup for the actual streaming. We're gonna get John on the phone, so don't stray too far. 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll be right back with you. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you in a minute. All right, welcome everybody to Sentinels Live, the sequel. Woo! It's Tuesday at 7-ish, 7:23-ish. So I guess it's time to welcome you all to Sentinels Live. Thank you for joining us around the digital tabletop where we play Sentinels of the Multiverse. As those of you who are joining us every week know, the goal of these streams is to have fun while showing you how to play the game as well as covering strategies that can help you win. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and being as inclusive as possible, so comments or activity that actively work against that goal are not welcome and will be moderated. You have been warned. If you enjoy the show, please do like, share, follow, and subscribe, and be sure to check out the other shows right here on twitch.tv/HandelabraGames. We've got Dolphins Dive on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern and Tales from the Archive on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. However, this Saturday, as I mentioned in the previous episode just a moment ago, we're not going to be having a Tales from the Archive this week. Zach, being a educator, as he were, needs some extra time to finish out his year. So we're going to be taking a week off on Tales from the Archive this week. But that's okay, because you guys got a listening party this week. So it all works out in the end. I'm Jeremy. You can follow me at Mr. J. Handel. Joining me, as always, is John. Where can people find you, John?
You can find me at Migrant P for Migrant Programmer.
Indeed. And we've got a couple other people joining us tonight. If you were with us for the listening party, you already know. But Jean-Marc, say hi, Jean-Marc. And where can people find you on Twitter or the internet?
Twitter is at Jean of Marc.
Jean of Marc. And, of course, our wonderful environment artist / everything else in the studio person is here as well. That's Jennifer. Jennifer, where can people find you on Twitter?
Twitter is at Cartoon Jen. Spelled the same as in the Twitch.
As you would assume. Cartoon Jen. All right. We are the developers, so you can always be sure to get some insight into the process and maybe even see some stuff before anyone else. Along those lines, check out our dev streams we've been doing to show off our new game, Bottom of the Ninth. We're doing another dev stream tomorrow, I believe, at around...
a week.
Oh, sorry,
tomorrow.
excuse me. A week from tomorrow. That's right. We were just talking about it, and I got the dates wrong. Just like I almost actually announced that Villains was coming out in 2 days instead of a week and 2 days. I'm all temporarily messed up. Stupid La Capitan keeps messing with me.
He's just excited. He's just excited.
I'm just excited. So, so check those out. The game includes a tutorial that covers the basics, but we always do our best to explain exactly what we're doing, when we do it, and why. And depending on how long it takes for us to win or lose, we often play multiple games in every 2-hour episode. Sentinels of the Multiverse is currently available for iOS, Android, as well as PC, Mac, and Linux via Steam, and always in good old analog cardboard and ink. Check out sentinelsdigital.com for more info and to try the demo absolutely free. And if you already enjoyed the game, please do go rate and review us on your chosen store. It really helps. And honestly, I've been asking this for a few weeks now, and boy, have you people been delivering. We've gotten tons of new reviews on Steam, on iOS, on Google, so thank you so much. It really does help with the visibility and with getting the word out there. All right, so let me turn the music up
And
here.
we just got a new subscriber.
Yay!
Hey!
Thanks, Maloko dude.
Malaka dude. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's pop in. And as we saw during the listening party, we've got a new variant villain to play. So let's pop that open. Bloop. Classic. There it is. And that, of course, is Kismet, but not regular Kismet. Trickster Kismet. Oh, she doesn't have the variant banner on her. She has it. Oh, I forgot to unlock it. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. Did I screw this up already?
Did you switch back to non-beta?
No, I'm good. All right. Oh, but now I'm not the king. I'm going to start a new game.
I'm the king.
Find me in Tome of the Bazaar, number 6. Yeah, we're
Thanks,
switching out.
Menzer, or M3N3.
Menzer. Mezenzer. All right, so Kismet is the Unsubtle Trickster now. Setup. At the start of the game, Kismet enters play Unsubtle Trickster side up. The talisman is put into the play area of the hero with the highest HP, Stolen Charm side up. The villain deck is shuffled and cards are revealed until H-2 Jinx cards are revealed and put into play. Other revealed cards are shuffled back into the villain deck. Gameplay. When the talisman enters the villain play area, Kismet flips. Whenever a lucky card enters play, Kismet deals each hero target 2 energy damage and regains HP. At the end of the villain turn, Kismet deals a hero character card in the play area with the talisman, H psychic damage. Then, if there are no Jinx cards in play, the top card of the villain deck is played. So I have to admit, I have not yet played against Trickster Kismet. Oh, someone says,
I have not yet won against Trickster Kismet.
Hit T. So yeah, I'll hit T real quick. Oh, well, T's not working for me.
Actually, I think I did on the tabletop. Yeah, something broke on the button.
Oh, the button's broken. But that's why it's not coming out for another week and a couple of days. We need to keep working on it. But that's okay. That's a simple fix. Right, guys? That's a simple fix. Okay. All right, Jean-Marc, we just need you to join us in Tome of the Bazaar, number 6.
Yeah, something's going on with my connection.
Of course it is. It seems like we can never get a cool group going on our internal channel without something.
You have the latest build, Jean-Marc?
Yeah, it's doing nothing.
All right, Chubby123 says, will we get the Kismet variant together with villains? That's the plan. If you've ever been with us through a launch before, the way that it works with variants is we launch the update, and then because we can actually control when variants are available from a server, we don't make it available until we know that everybody has it, until we see it in the wild on both Android stores, iOS, and Steam. And then once we know for a fact that everybody has an equal chance, we make it live, and then the variant hunt begins. Because remember, for the first 30 days, the only way to get the variant is to unlock it via the story challenge, which you guys have to figure out on your own. No help from us. All right, while Jean-Marc is trying to figure out what's going on there, Jen, since you're one of the newbies who isn't with us every week, I'm going to let you go ahead and pick your hero first.
Ooh, who should I pick?
All right, let's get Trickster Kismet in there. And I feel like it only makes sense to play at Madame Mittermeier's if we're going to be playing Trickster Kismet.
That does make sense.
Oh, yes, yeah, Real Fan of an X says, I thought that was changed until somebody discovers it. It is, yes, once somebody discovers the actual unlock condition. It's not from when the first person actually unlocks it. It's once we see that the community has actually figured out what the unlock condition is, we post the unlock condition on the page, on sentinelsdigital.com/variants, and then we will make it available for everybody with the unlock button.
Are you able to connect it all to the multiplayer, Jean-Marc?
No, it's not. I don't know what's going on here.
All right, I will pick my hero while they're trying to work that out. You know, I've been having a lot of luck with a Scholar lately, so I think I'm going to do Scholar. The question is, do I want to do Scholar of the Infinite or regular Scholar? I think I'm going to do regular Scholar.
I was gonna say we can make it an all variants of the lineup.
Is the issue, Jean-Marc, with Steam, or is it with your internet connection, you think?
Before it seemed like it was my internet, but now I'm not sure.
Have you unplugged it and plugged it back in?
You didn't lose me yet, so...
Yeah. What about, so have you restarted Steam? I assume that was one of your first tries.
Yeah, I'll, just give it a sec. Oh, okay.
Alright, so what'd you guys think of that music, huh? While we're waiting for Jean-Marc to get these things going. I was commenting to him that my favorite music from this batch is probably Court of Blood. I understand that, you know, Madame Mittermeier's is amazing and Greaser is equally amazing, but there's something about the way that Court of Blood progresses and it's sort of like deep gothic sort of craziness that just called to me. And then I remembered that technically Temple of Zhulong is a part of this expansion pack, and then I had to rescind that because from this expansion pack, Temple of Zhulong continues to be my favorite. I think it is still my absolute favorite piece of music that Jean-Marc has ever composed, which is saying quite a bit. It is saying quite a mouthful, but it definitely is. What about you, John? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Haven't actually listened to it as much because we haven't had it in the game until today. Because we like to have the beta testers join the listening party fun as well. Yeah, I really enjoy the Court of Blood, so I'll be playing that a bunch.
Yeah, and Magmaria is a really excellent one for like putting it on repeat all day and then just working. Like it's ambient enough, but also has its own kind of thing going on that you can't quite figure out what's going on. All right, Jean-Marc has joined us.
Yeah, it works. Okay.
For some reason, it erased everything when he did that. Is that because
he joined us and it erased everything?
Yeah, because maybe he doesn't have all of the expansions turned on?
If you click on him, you can see what he has.
Could that be a new feature? I think it is. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss a new feature, which is something that has
they're
been...
all there now, but so something's wrong.
Yeah, something screwy is going on. But I'll go ahead and talk about this feature as long as we're doing it, which is that you saw when Jean-Marc joined my game, it changed the expansions that were available. And this was as a result of a lot of discussion that has been happening online about new people, basically. You know, that like new people join the game and all they have is the core game and they can't find anyone to play with. And so this is a way to allow, instead of like locking people out of a game if they don't have everything, it lets them join and then you can actually sort of chat back and forth with people about what expansions people have and turn them on and off. You can take it back to the old way if you want, but this is a really excellent way to keep people basically coming back, you know, because not everyone's going to just go ahead and buy absolutely everything the first day, and if they come on and can't find anyone to play with, you know, that's not the greatest experience.
Yeah,
So,
and we get comments from people saying like, oh, my friends can't join my game because I have the expansion and they don't.
Yeah.
And that's not the case, but people don't realize that they can turn off the expansions. And so we're basically just making it simpler for you to get together.
Indeed. All right, it looks like we lost Jen.
We lost Jen. What happened, Jen?
Oh, and she's
now
back.
Jen's back.
All right.
There's definitely a bug here where it's removing everything whenever.
Yeah.
So if David is watching, we'll have to
Let's
do
definitely
some
take
more
a look at
testing
that.
on that.
Yep. All right, so go ahead and pick your heroes. It looks like everybody's in here, and we're finally getting ready to go here. So.
Yeah, click yours, Jeremy.
What's that?
Setback.
What? That was me.
I only see 2 heroes in my game. I see the Scholar and
Yeah,
Tempest.
That's all.
I think things are screwed up. So we should start a new room, probably.
Starting a
I
new
also
room.
see Scholar and Tempest.
Starting a new room. Mind over Matter number 9. We swear we're going to be ready for next
Welcome to
Thursday.
Bug Finding Live.
I'm going to wait to add things until everybody's joined. All right, good. So now villains, we'll add in Trickster Kismet. Environments. We've got Madame Mittermeiers. Heroes. Scholar. All right, I see a hero for Migrant P. I see a hero for myself. I see a hero for Gamer Jen.
Try something other than Tempest.
AKA Cartoon Jen. And we've got Setback. Fantastic. All right, let's ready up. Yeah, don't release it in 2 days. We won't. Lucky meeting you here. Now I get to show you all my new tricks. It is the time to be fighting. This is a thing I am not bad at. Very much the opposite. And actually, as long as we got the music in, I got to go in and turn it up a little bit because how are we going to not have the music be audible here? All right. Skyscraper opens with an aggression modulator, microassembler, Thorathian monolith, and undetectable relinking. Scholars got Grace Under Fire, know when to turn loose, offensive transmutation, and transmutive recovery. So that's like an offensive transmutative recovery. Then Absolute Zero has got 2 isothermic transducers, a Frostbound Drain, and a Cryo Chamber. And Setback has got Turn of Events, Silver Lining, Exceed Expectations, and Cash Out. Now, as I mentioned, I have not yet played against Trickster Kismet. So the Talisman was moved into, I didn't see where. Weak Heart comes into play, goes to someone. 2 Left Feet comes into play.
Went to Skyscraper's play area.
Yeah, so that's in Skyscraper's play area. We got a Jinx that came out already and went against Weak Heart, went against Absolute Zero. Now we have to pick where 2 Left Feet is going to go. No FPO? That makes me frickin' pissed off. Yeah, so where should this one go? Probably like Scholar.
Sure.
And Unlucky Break comes out. Luckily, we have no ongoing or equipment to worry about.
Yeah, we actually have a few tankier characters here. So
Yeah.
we've got heavy defense.
All right. So the main thing to worry about with Kismet on this side is lucky cards entering play.
Oh, right. You know what? When I read this, I never bothered flipping her over and discussing that. When the Talisman enters a hero play area, Kismet flips. The first time a lucky card enters play each turn, Kismet regains 4 HP and plays the top card of the villain deck. At the end of the villain turn, Kismet deals each hero target and the Talisman 2 psychic damage, then Kismet destroys 1 Jinx card. If she does, all Jinx cards in play are moved to the play area of the hero target with the highest HP. That's her flip side. All right. Skyscraper, what do you got?
Let's see. I don't really have a lot that I want to play in my hand. So I think I'm just going to play a microassembler on someone who might want it, which would be either me or Absolute Zero. Do you want a microassembler? Jen?
Sure.
Let's micro-assemble Jen.
And I can either drop 2 cards or use the Talisman's power. Actually, I'm going to use the Talisman's power to manipulate Kismet's deck. Because we really don't want her to play lucky cards if we can avoid it.
Yeah, I actually just played against her in the game for the first time today, and she was pretty tough.
Yeah, if she gets which one? The one that prevents destruction. Lady Luck into play. She plays lucky cards all the time. And it's really hard. So we have 2 lucky cards or a Karmic Disjunction. So I guess let's go with Karmic Disjunction on top.
Is that how many?
And then
top 5 cards of the villain deck. Put any reveal
so
jinxes in.
2 of them are going to be lucky. And there'll be 3 other ones.
Yeah, Mojo Gamer VGB mentions again, and this was mentioned a couple times during the listening party, but we didn't call it out. Adam West, the original Batman, did pass away this week, unfortunately. Rest in peace. All right, so my Grace Under Fire is not really going to do much because there's only one non-hero target in play. I don't think I want to turn loose. Does she do a lot of damage as Trickster Kismet? I don't even know.
It's a decent amount.
Yeah.
I mean, you may as well hit her with that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best case here.
Like
I
tripping
know
over
some
your
of
own
her
feet.
stuff is to let us do damage to ourselves, which is annoying, but what are you gonna do? I guess I'll read 1 HP. Oh,
there are
right,
two
two villain targets. Yeah, the
targets.
charm. I forgot. Thank you.
If you brought up Grace Under Fire, it would have told you that.
That's true. I mean, I had only lost 1 HP, and I don't have any of my thingies.
Yeah,
in
it's
play,
not
so.
as obvious, but... And then sometimes it can be easy to think that there are no villain ongoings in play, but they're next to your heroes, so there are usually more than you think.
All right, Jen,
Alright,
what do you
what's
got?
Absolute Zero going to do?
Oh, I was looking at my cards instead of letting it play. Well, I'd really like to get Cryo Chamber and Isothermic Transducer in play, but I'll just...
You can do that with Microassembler.
I know, that's what I was just thinking.
Nice.
So if I discard my Cryo Chamber, then I can find one and hit.
This is definitely one of the ones that I find myself humming just randomly when I'm like walking around.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Right. So all of these remove tokens that I don't have. I don't really need to heal everybody at this point, so I guess I'll just skip my play.
I mean, why wouldn't you put Silver Lining into play?
Oh, I guess I could, but it might... My concern with that is that it might be destroyed by the time I... Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll... Lucky break.
Is Jean-Marc
And-
roboting a little bit for others, or is it just me?
Yes.
Okay.
And you lost your token. For no effect.
Aww.
All right, Freak Show comes out. Karmic Disjunction, which we knew. I'm gonna pop open Freak Show because again, this is one of the newer environments, so we haven't played it much. Oop, hang on. All right, here we go. Freak Show. Attraction. The hero target with the lowest HP cannot deal damage. When that target would attempt to deal damage, that target's player may discard 2 cards to destroy this card. All right, so who is that right now? It's either Skyscraper or Absolute Zero. So we should use that to our advantage.
Well, we're going to blow up our things.
There we go. My Silver Lining is in my hand.
And there's that offensive transmutation doing its job. Shaky Arm comes out. This can go to anyone. Reduce damage dealt by the hero by 1.
Maybe Setback so he hurts himself less.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
The Jack in the Box is here.
Yep. Yeah, actually, someone in the chat said like it'd be great if the jump scare came out during the game. Well, this is in the same way that it comes out during the listening party thing. I think that would get really old really fast. As fun as it would be the
that
first
would
couple
be like
times.
a one-time thing, and
Yeah.
it would be a lot of work to program it
Yeah,
for the
totally.
one time. Although if, because this one has like, I mean, previous to this one, I think the only environment with a vocal line is Enclave of the Endlings, but this one has 3 different
several
sections.
chunks.
If people find that they're getting like weary of them after hearing them over and over, let me know. I won't be offended. It would be good to know, and maybe we can subdue them or something like that.
Well, we have 3 lucky cards, so I'll put Hapless Strike on top. And then Violent Trickster after that.
Neutralizing Resonant. There it comes out. All right, so now she can deal damage once again. Is it too early for the Proverbs and Axioms? Everybody has at least an HP to Greene, except for me, right?
Yep, or Absolute Zero and Skyscraper can't deal damage, so they can do that part.
Got a Rebounding Defibrillator, Expect the Worst.
As long as we choose the order correctly.
Focused Apertures, and Karmic Retribution. Alright, so who wants to do what?
So we could have...
Either regain 2 HP or deal themselves 3 psychic damage and use a power.
I'm going to take damage.
Yes, I think Absolute Zero can go first to make sure. If you can use a power for free if you do the second thing, because we can say you're the lowest. And then you could discard that, or I guess you could. Oh, you don't have the assembler anymore. That's true.
No,
maybe it's not
unfortunately, I do not.
And your power would just deal damage, so it's not really actually useful.
Well.
You could discard cards to destroy it. Do you want to do that, or do you want to keep them?
Do we want to get rid of Freak Show so it stops annoying us? I could do that.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea if you've got the cards to spare.
I'm looking at what cards I have. I actually, well, I'd rather not. Well, I could discard it if I need to.
You could just say no, and you could just say no and don't deal damage if you want.
Well, my only power right now is deal damage.
Oh, right. For this, you can say that you're not the lowest, so you can deal damage.
We are gaming the game.
We changed our mind.
If two are even the lowest. I exploited this the whole game I played earlier.
All right, I'm just gonna heal because I'm not the lowest anymore. Oh well, I clicked the wrong button. That's fine. I'm gonna play link cards. Interesting. I can play this next to Talisman because it's a character card, but it doesn't really matter. And I can play Neutralizing Resonator as well.
The greatest power the heroes have, selecting who is the highest, lowest HP.
It's not even who is so much as are they considered at the exact point that the question pops up. So it's even more like awkward to say, all right, yes, I will deal myself damage.
Less because of your shaky arm.
Oh.
There you get the silver lining.
There it is. It's coming out either way.
Probably wasn't the best Proverbs and Axioms.
And that's why I was asking, was it too early? But I didn't really have much else to do. I mean, I could have done her, I guess, 2 damage, but Absolute Zero did that.
You never know what was going to happen.
Alright, so you're not the lowest anymore, so you can deal damage no matter what.
Yay! That's why I like Freedom 6 Absolute Zero. You just start dealing damage from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so there are not that many targets in this game, so I will exceed expectations.
You always exceed my expectations, Jean-Marc.
Nemesis bonus.
Such a like relative thing to say. It's like, well, what were your expectations? It's like such a safe thing to say in any situation because it could be really good or
Yeah, it could be like,
just
well,
be
I mean, I didn't really expect anything, so
yeah, exactly.
you easily exceeded that. I'll
That's
tell you,
it. Jeremy's working out for you.
Jean-Marc definitely has his work cut out for him to exceed expectations when it comes to Oblivion. Because let me tell you, we've had many internal conversations already about what that is going to require musically, and quite frankly, we don't even really know yet. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Well, I can safely say that I'm glad I'm not the primary Sentinels engine card programmer
anymore. Yep.
because otherwise Oblivion would never get done.
All right, so I'm just going to do 0 damage to everyone.
Thanks.
Wheel of Misfortune.
Always wanted to be dealt 0 damage.
It's the best.
Cytosine says, I've wondered if you'll be crossfading between environments as the fight moves between them or what. It sounds complicated. Yeah, that is some of the conversation that we've had here. It is still completely unclear what's going to be happening to Oblivion, but
Part of it is we don't know exactly what gameplay is yet.
yeah.
So, but it's not necessarily finished. So,
Although, I will say this, Greater Than Games has said that they are going to be streaming full games of Oblivion on their Twitch channel at some point soon-ish.
Yeah.
So we should know pretty soon exactly how Oblivion is going to play, and believe me, we are as excited to find out as you are. Probably more so, because that'll tell us exactly what the next, 6 months of our lives are going to look like while we're programming it. So, and by we, I of course mean absolutely everyone but me, because I don't program.
all right, everyone gets to discard a card.
Yay!
She's so violent, that Trickster. Yeah, I think I'm.
I don't think your Grace Under Fire is going to be useful this game because there are exactly 2 non-hero targets possible this game.
Yeah. Come closer. Things in your future. Oh yeah, Cytosine says, I'm looking forward to obsessively organizing my collection. I cannot wait to get the Handelabra official copy of the big collector box. That is something, because we actually have, I don't know if you can see it, where's my thing? Like, if you look right there, can everybody see this? That's our, official Handelabra copy of all the Sentinels stuff, and it's spread across 3 boxes right now, and I can't wait to get it all in one big box and have it all just very organized. It's going to be very exciting.
It should fit in 2 boxes at this point.
It could fit in 2 boxes, but I have it spread across 3 because I have it very specifically heroes, villains, team villains, environments. I
have the same thing.
Yeah. All right, Skyscraper.
I am going to microassemble myself so I can get links to play on Kismet to hit herself.
Oh, I never even mentioned it during the listening party, but because today was music day, I'm wearing a music-themed shirt. Yes, that's right. I'm wearing my Spice Girls t-shirt from way back in the day. Fun story about this t-shirt. I got this t-shirt for free when I bought tickets to the Spice Girls concert, which I did not get to go to because it was the same day as Lollapalooza, which I also had tickets to, and I didn't realize it when I bought them. And so I opted to go see Tool and Korn and a number of other bands instead of Spice Girls, and I gave the Spice Girls tickets to my sister. All right, so let's see here. Do I want to... Yeah, get out of the way is not going to deal much either. I still don't have any of my thingies out.
Draw more cards.
Yeah, might as well. Flesh to Iron. And another offensive transmutation. Yep, alright. I guess we've got Bide Your Time Scholar tonight. I got another one of my elementals. That's good. Okay, Cytosine says, I don't have Villains or Celestial Tribunal yet. I've been waiting until they hit the video game to buy them. So I think we mentioned it briefly during the listening party stream, but we are breaking ground now that we are about to finish Villains. Excuse me, we're breaking ground on the rest of the decks that we have in-house, which includes Celestial Tribunal. So we will be actually doing a dev stream about Celestial Tribunal next Wednesday. So tune into that, and you can see us actually see, like, I think we're going to do a little bit of the programming of the actual cards. I think Jen might do a little bit of the environment work, so you'll get to see sort of a little bit more of the process, how we make a Celestial Tribunal.
Is that 2 left feet causing you much grief there, Jeremy? Doesn't seem like it.
Not really. I mean, it's, you know, I hit myself whenever I do anything, but I mean, I've been healing it all up, so I wouldn't really worry about it.
All right. I could cash out. I'd like to get some other cards. Do people want to discard to heal?
Sure.
It's good to know that beforehand. All right. I'll go 3. Alright, so I will get rid of Friendly Fire, because I never use that card. Or almost never.
Hank Red missed it. What's happening with the Celestial Tribunal is that we are going to be showing you how we develop a environment deck next week on the dev stream, which is on Wednesday afternoon Eastern Time. I believe it usually starts around 1 p.m.
Yeah, so only 3 out of the 4 of us need to discard here. So who's going to be the last one?
Scholar,
Jeremy?
yeah, Scholar can do it. That's fine.
Okay, I only have 2 cards, so...
Yeah, like, I don't think I'm going to use Get Out of the Way. Yeah, Takewalker, we're probably not going to be developing that particular mechanic on the dev stream. He says, oh man, I'm once again excited to see how they implement a crazy new mechanic for that deck. For those who don't know what they're talking about, Celestial Tribunal is very interesting in that one of its mechanics is that there is a card that has you take a character card from the box from a character that is not currently in play. And we have not worked out how we're doing that yet, so don't expect to see that on the dev stream next week. We promise we will work it out, and it will be amazing, as you have come to expect from us, but that is not going to be the first thing we tackle with regards to the Celestial Tribunal, not by a long shot.
Certainly not live.
Certainly not live. Yeah, exactly.
Because it might be, like, literally John and David and I going,
Yeah, so... But just like, you know, I'm sure at one point you were wondering, I wonder how they're going to do Setback's tokens, or, you know, I wonder how they're going to do, what's the other one that I remember recently? Oh, like
guys,
how are they gonna,
at all?
Yeah, how are they going to do guys, or how are they going to do the titles for the, you know, Bloodsworn Coliseum? We promise we will figure it out. It might just take us some time.
Trickster Kismet heals a lot. She's so lucky, and she's killing me, Buster.
Yeah, she does get to heal a lot. Damage output needs to exceed damage
Healing.
input, but heal input.
Bring me my links so I make Compulsion Canister, because that is the only thing I can do usefully. And I can do it again.
Nice.
And the talisman is going to hit again. Flipped. So she is going to flip.
There she is. All right, let's remind everybody
now
what's happening here.
One big difference is it's only the first time a lucky card enters play that she does regain 4 hit points and play the top card.
All right, and then at the end of the villain turn, Kismet deals each hero target and the talisman 2 psychic damage. Then Kismet destroys 1 Jinx card. If she does, all Jinx cards in play are moved to the play area of the hero target with the highest HP. Ooh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before.
We want to destroy the Jinxes now.
Yes.
Because on the flip side, it increases her damage as well.
Okay, I can help with that. I mean, other people can as well, but...
Right.
Most of the cards in my hand are use-up tokens, and I haven't been getting a lot this game, so I'm happy to do something useful. I was even tempted to use Friendly Fire because it gains me tokens, which I
guess you could also, like, just kill the talisman. Get the talisman.
That's true. We could do that. Alright, so let's see.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, both sides of her are...
Man, I am not loving what's happening with the Scholar.
Hankroyd asks, will Varian Kismet and the 10 villains have a challenge mode? They will, but not next week.
Not next week, yes. And actually, Christopher mentioned this. If you read the comments on the Kickstarter update, challenge modes have not yet been written for the 10 villains of the Multiverse Villains or Trickster Kismet. They're on his to-do list, but he has quite a bit of stuff on his to-do list right now.
Yeah.
Alright, she can't deal damage, so I don't need to worry about that.
Alright, so that's good. Alright, there's a mortal form to energy, so that's good. Alright, onboard modular installation. We got a modular realignment. That looks to be just about completely set up absolute zero to me.
Yeah. As long as all that stuff stays in play.
Yeah, as long as you can keep it around. Yeah, let's keep wailing on her. She is going to come back a little bit if she plays a Jinx card.
I guess we probably should be hitting the talisman, now that I think about it.
Well, yeah, and that was what John was saying. That's one strategy, is try to get the talisman out of her play area as fast as possible.
But she can't deal damage right now.
But she can't deal damage right now, exactly, so...
Right. Yeah.
Do we still want that Jinx gone, or are we not caring temporarily?
I'm not too worried about it. Unless you, like, Scattered Mind, what does that do? You have to discard cards, so you might not want that.
Actually, I should probably pop open some of these other environment cards because we haven't seen these many times. Shooting Gallery. At the end of the environment turn, the hero character card with the lowest HP deals each hero target 1 projectile damage. And then Gone Without a Trace. At the end of the environment turn, if there are more attractions than character cards with 5 or more HP, the target with the lowest HP deals itself 5 infernal damage. If a target is destroyed this way, remove that target from and this card from the game. And we have 3 attractions to play right now.
It's funny you should say that, Takewalker. I'm also standing in my hot bedroom peeling wallpaper off the ceiling. It's really surreal. It might not look like it, but, you know, I have my ways.
Indeed. Out comes the Unstable Midway. Oops. That is, at the start of the environment turn, deal each target 2 psychic damage and 1 melee damage. Shuffle the environment trash into the environment deck and play the top card of the environment deck. If that card is an attraction, destroy this card. And there you can see Jennifer's inspiration for the Funhouse, which she took and made infinitely more disgusting and crazy.
Yay!
Yay!
We're having lots of fun in the fun house.
Funhouse! Oh, somebody asked who was the voice for that. Was that you?
No.
Or was that like a sample?
that was like a very specific voice I needed that I basically had to look for, like, listen through lots of carnival sounds all over the place and try and find one that had just the right thing. And then as soon as I heard that, I was like, I could not have asked a voice actor to do that more perfectly.
Like
we're having lots of fun in the fun house. Yeah, it was like a true carnival barker for sure.
All right, I need more cards, so I am going to rest and recover.
Cytosine says it's officially too dang hot in here. So basically what he's saying is, the temperature in here is too damn high.
It's almost, well, It's also very hot in Cleveland.
It is very hot in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's been super hot here for the past 4 days.
Well,
Honestly-
yeah, 30 Celsius here, but it's going to about half that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fine actually when it's too hot in Cleveland for the office, because that means that the air conditioning is actually on in the office, which is good because I need really good air conditioning or else it gets way too hot in the Handelabra home, because it's like I have all these computers and monitors running. So, all right, so let's see. I have 2 elemental. I have 3 elementals. Expectors. I still don't really have anything I really am dying to do. I guess I'll just mortal form to energy. Should I mean, my shaky arm's not going to do anything, so it's fine, whatever. Stupid shaky arm. Lou Dolphin with the How I Met Your Mother reference. Not lost on me, sir.
Jennifer's doing all the work here.
The Handelabra, as it were. Uh-oh.
Jean-Marc
Mark
disconnected.
Oh, wait. Nope, he's back.
It was just a temporal rift.
Stop kicking your router, man. What are you doing?
It's right under there. For kicking.
It's in prime kicking position.
That's pretty good, Jennifer. More than 10 damage.
Yeah. Not bad.
All right. Yeah, I actually ordered a standing desk, so I'm going to have to rearrange a lot of things.
Interesting. Lou Dolphin
Right.
says he's in the middle of a How I Met Your Mother rewatch. I'm actually almost at the very end of a Scrubs rewatch. That is a fantastic sitcom. If anybody's interested or looking for a show to watch.
Yeah, my sister loves that show.
Oh,
too.
so good. It's on Hulu right now, at least in the United States. I don't know what the situation is in Canada. I think it might
I
still be
don't-
on Netflix in Canada.
Yeah, I don't think we have Hulu in Canada.
Ah,
No.
I
Hulu's,
haven't seen
I think
it.
you can get it, but it's not as good as in the
not
US.
as good in the US, yeah. So Cruz is rewatching Scrubs. Woo! Yeah, I stopped myself right before the series finale, or the real series finale, the season 8 series finale I stopped myself. I'm going to watch that tonight when I get home. And I plan
Who
to
would
cry.
like some cards?
The thing that I do.
Maybe the Scholar.
Yeah, that's fine. I still don't really have anything useful to do, so.
Okay.
Oh, right. E3 is a thing that's happening. You might have noticed that there's actually a little thing you can buy on our channel, the E3 2017 digital ticket. It's a humble bundle something. I don't actually know exactly what it is, but I was told that if we put it on our thing, we would get a kickback if anyone buys it from our channel. I am not trying to say if you're not interested in it, don't buy it. But if you are interested, if you buy it through us, we do get a slight consideration. as it
Bonus.
were. Yes. And yeah, so actually, Jean-Marc, you probably watched the Nintendo thing today. I was transfixed by the new Super Mario Odyssey stuff.
Oh
mainly
my
because
goodness.
mainly because I'm actually playing through Super Mario Galaxy 2 on my Wii right now and loving it. And man, is there anything you can't do in Super Mario Odyssey? Like, what?
I know. Like, after I saw the first trailer, I was thinking, okay, this is probably one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
I know.
Like, not just in Mario games. I mean, like, that any game would take on as much as that trailer showed. And then they show this one, and it's like, yeah, I mean, really, it seems like they're shaking up a Mario game as much as they shook up Zelda with Breath of the Wild, which, if anyone hasn't played Breath of the Wild, it's
so amazing.
It's probably one of the best games I've ever.
Yeah, seriously.
Ever.
It is.
Like, it might be my favorite game ever. Like, it's so good. I haven't gotten to the end because there's so much to do, and I'm in no rush to do it all. Like,
I had that exact
I just
moment with
wander
Zelda.
around, and I'm like, there's going to be something cool here, and there almost always is. So
I had that exact moment with Zelda where I was like, all right, I'm ready to take on Ganon. But I don't know that I fully explored that cool snow area yet. So maybe I'm going to go over there for a while. And then I did that for like 3 hours, and then I did something else for 3 hours, and took a while.
and
The Loco
there's
dude
2
bought the
DLC
ticket.
packs coming
Hey,
out.
thank you, Malooka dude. considered to have most
So
cards
the
in
environment played a bunch of cards.
Yeah, and actually, I wanted
Yeah.
to point that out because there are now 4 attractions in play, which means there are an equal number. Or actually, I guess there's 5 character cards with 5 or more HP. So that's right, because the talisman counts. Or no, I'm sorry, the Kismet counts. Excuse me.
And the talisman counts. It's a character card.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, but it's only got 3, so that's why it doesn't count. Okay.
Who wants to get a scattered mind? I guess I will. I'm not dealing damage. Because of the freak show. And I feel I'm doing okay without. But we are going to get pummeled by Kismet here.
Yeah, so Lou Dolphin says he just got a Switch and Breath of the Wild recently. I don't know what your commute looks like, but I loved the fact that I take the train to work, and so I would play Zelda for like 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, then I'd dock it when I get home and play it all night. Oh, that's so awesome. I love my Switch. I literally was, while I was waiting for everything to go online tonight, whoop, here it is, whoop, there's my Switch in my cool little case. I'm still playing The Binding of Isaac, which I'm finding is a game that, like, despite the fact that I really want to stop playing it, I can't seem to make myself stop playing it. So that's good. Oh, and Bella Sorcier says, I'm buying a PS4 Pro. I'm dying to buy a PS4 Pro because I got a 4K TV, and I really want to play whatever that awesome new game that came out, like, at the same time as Zelda. Now that I finished Zelda, I want to play that. There's too many good games.
I'm just taking out the environment.
Take it out!
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Why can't I think of the name of it? That PS4 game that came out. Horizon Zero Dawn! I've heard really good things about it. Yes, thank you, Bella Sorcier.
Don't switch and drive.
Yes, definitely don't switch and drive. Yeah, if I was driving to work, I probably would find a way to not be able to drive to work so that I could play more Zelda.
Automatic car.
Jeremy showing off all his Handelabra money. I'd like to point out I have not yet bought a PS4 Pro. I'm just saying that I want to buy a PS4 Pro. But I haven't yet. I almost bought it at Christmas time, but I didn't. Alright, what do I want to get rid of? Yeah, it's get out of the way. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of get out of the way to keep my mortal form to energy. The talisman is in my play area now, but I am losing quite a few hit points here.
Play expect the worst, and then she won't be able to hit you.
Yeah, she's at 33. I'm trying to think. I have my Truth Seeker, but I don't know that I need that right now. Yeah, I think Expect the Worst is probably a decent play here, so I'll do that.
Then you'll heal and do damage next turn too, so.
Yep, I like that. I'm living the dream. Make cool games all day, play cool games at night. I try. If you make your love your work, you'll never work a day in your life.
Except that making games and playing games are two entirely different
and actually,
processes.
that is a fantastic point because I went through about a year where I did not play any games because, like, my life was the ultimate role-playing game. I was playing the role of CEO and trying to level up my starting a business skill tree.
You're playing Game Dev Story.
Exactly right. I was playing Game Dev Story, and I couldn't. It is very glamorous when you get to watch us playing games online every Tuesday night and everything else, but that skips over the part where, like, for 5 years we tried to make a business work and it completely failed and I ended up crying on the couch because I couldn't pay my bills. Like, that is an equal part of this particular process. I've gotten to a much more fun part of the process now, but there were other parts before now, for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because often, like, when we tweet, it's about fun things. When we show games, it's about fun things. But it's like, it's not that work isn't fun. It's just that I think the dev streams do a better job of showing what it's actually like day to day.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to do this, and
it's not all listening parties and multiplayer games. People.
I'm going to spend 4 hours figuring out this bug, maybe, and maybe actually not, and cause a new bug.
Yeah, the best quote I've ever seen about that is like, from a manager. It's from like a developer to a manager, which is saying, asking me how long it's going to take me to fix this bug is like asking me how long it's going to take to find my keys. You know, like I could find it in the next 2 minutes, or it could take me 4 hours because they fell into the couch and I don't think to look there. Like that's definitely a thing.
The scholar's going to kill me now. Oh, not quite. Almost.
I mean, so when you lose your keys, you often go through little tricks. Was like, oh, when was the last time I, used them, or where was I sitting? So I mean, there are certain processes you go through mentally to help figure it out. But even sometimes just finding it is sort of the big thing, and then fixing it's easy. But sometimes it's the other way around, where it's like it's obvious where it is, but you don't know
fixing
how to
it
fix
is like what? Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right, Kismet is down to 22. Against most villains, I would say we'd have this easily in hand at this point, but I have never played against Trickster Kismet, and I've heard lots of horror stories.
Heals. She does a lot of healing. It's hard to finish her off. Do you want more damage?
What the heck?
Yeah, so they're talking about how retail is soul sucking. I see your retail and raise you food service, which is where I spend quite a bit of my time. And I've actually also worked retail, although I worked retail at Apple, so I don't know that is necessarily equivalent. But both retail and food service can be quite soul sucking. Although to be fair, there are many times that I've actually dreamed about potentially starting a restaurant. So maybe it's not quite as soul sucking as retail, because I've never thought to myself I'd love to start a retail store.
I want my trash links.
The thing about food service, at least in the United States, and I realize it is not like this in most other civilized countries, but the way that tipping works in the United States is so bass-ackwards, because it's like it's a sales position where the customer chooses your commission, and that makes absolutely no sense. Like if you went to buy a car and it was like, oh, I think I'll decide to tip you 10% or 15% or 20% on this car purchase, that would be completely asinine. Nobody would do that. But that's the way it works in food service. All right. All right, so I'm going to heal from my expect the worst. I don't think I'm going to use a second mortal form again.
And remember, that's only food service, some food service, not all food service.
That's true. That is true. There's even worse food service where you make minimum wage and there are no tips. Setback. Do you want to be
pummeled?
Damaged. Jean-Marc?
Oh, sorry. No.
No. All right.
I'd like to stay above 10.
Okay. Okay.
You have silver lining.
I do. But that's some more of if I need it, not I'll make myself need it.
I think I'm going to Truth Seeker just so that I can draw another card. And maybe we'll get her within striking distance where I can just turn loose. Well, Sorcier says, I did work as a bartender once, but no one tipped me. That made me very sad. That is ridiculous.
Is that in the U.S.?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's actually a good question. Because I know that, like, in the U.K., for instance, when I went there, like, a tip was not expected, but it was sort of like if everything is going fantastic, then yes, go ahead and tip. But, like, in most civilized countries, they actually pay people a livable wage. Like, for those of you who have never worked food service, like waiting tables in the United States, minimum wage, Like, the minimum wage since, like, the 80s is $5.25 an hour. It's gone up since then, but for food service workers who get tips, it was $2.13 an hour.
Yeah,
and then
they assume you'll make tips.
Because they assume you'll make tips, yeah, and it was, There were definitely shifts where I actually had to, like, they actually had to pay me over the $2.13 an hour because I did not make enough tips to actually, like, reach minimum wage, which is horrible.
Is there a card that people wouldn't mind me stepping on? By this, I'm referring to whoops, sorry.
Yeah, you could take out a link if you want.
Okay.
Like probably the resonator.
Yeah, Forsaken one says in the UK, tips don't count to minimum wage. And, like, actually, there are some cities in the United States that have passed laws that don't. Like, Seattle, for instance, there is no, like, server minimum wage. Like, they just make regular minimum wage like everybody else. Which, by the way, in Seattle is, like, $12 an hour. Because they care about people. That being said, as I mentioned, I've oftentimes thought about starting a restaurant as like a little family business because I feel like I know the food service industry well enough that I could actually do well doing something like that. And my wife has come up with some amazing recipes. And not to toot my own horn, but I have a pretty amazing lobster pumpkin bisque that I make during the fall, which is quite amazing.
You should also make lobster thermidor.
I have made a good lobster thermidor, actually. I made it for Valentine's Day the last 2 years, and Lisa loves it. Meanwhile, in the U.S., food workers be like, insult me more. Very true.
Uh-oh.
Maze of Mirrors. All right, so this is a good one to bring up. Attraction. Redirect the first damage dealt by a target each turn to the source of that damage. Treat every instance of the word villain on hero cards as if it were the word hero instead. This card
Inconceivable.
sucks.
Does it affect any cards happening right now? Let's see. Not Setback. I don't think Absolute Zero.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I don't think it's affecting any cards right now.
All right. Well, it still affects all the damage, though.
So this can matter here.
Yeah, I was going to say, do Skyscraper first, because it's going to go back right at her, right?
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Oh, yeah.
To save Skyscraper. Right, and there's inconceivable destruction is there, but there are no targets in this environment, so it's just going to keep discarding cards first. So now there's also Uncharmed Life, so Setback could redirect all these back to her if we want for tokens.
She's on 11 HP.
Going to get destroyed, so we can clean that one up. I guess the order probably doesn't matter now. I guess that's redirecting it to Setback, not wherever you want. So.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get her down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 5 cards in addition to no one to turn loose. So if we can get her down to 5, I can clean it up.
If you want me to take this, Jen?
I mean, what are you at? We're at the same HP.
We're at the same. It's sort of
Jennifer can heal a lot.
Yeah, I can heal, so you should.
Okay.
Bill Associator says, I will totally trade you my hard time playing a game for more than 2 hours for your can't stop playing Binding of Isaac. To be fair, I don't, like I said, I can't stop playing it. What that means is I play it for like 15 to 20 minutes on the train on the way to work and the way home from work, and then I have kids and a family and other things to do when I get home. So like sometimes I'll start playing again at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and more than once I have literally fallen asleep with something playing on the TV and the Switch in my hands, and I'm like, and I wake up at 3 in the morning and go drag myself up to bed.
Yes, having shared a room with you at many conventions, I have seen that.
I'm a snorer.
I have stories about having to get earplugs from the front desk.
Yep.
And
I'm a snorer. Get ready for that at Gen Con, Jean-Marc. It's coming at you again.
I know. I mean, it's good that once I'm out, like, it's actually pretty difficult to wake me up. But if you're already asleep, snoring,
yes, I can imagine.
That's when it's the worst.
I can only imagine. I'm the same way.
You can't
honestly.
fall asleep fast enough before you start snoring again.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, once I'm asleep, it takes sort of a, an act of nature to wake me up again. But yes, I can imagine how hard it would be, because occasionally my wife, like, if she has a cold, she'll snore, and I have a hard time falling asleep.
If I play a card, I will kill myself. So that's exciting.
That seems like not the best choice.
If I had Threatening Monolith, I could play it and reduce the damage, but I don't have anything, I don't think, to reduce damage, so I am just going to have to skip because my power is also playing cards. I guess I can use my power to put cards into my hand, but I think drawing other cards is better. Oh, I could play Cortex Hyperstimulator on myself to prevent me from killing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful moves.
All right,
But then I would kill myself at the end of the turn, so I'd have to destroy it.
I'm going to
That's my
solve
card.
it to liquid. So,
If between the two of you can deal at least 7 damage, I can finish her off.
I can tell you, though, that I don't really like to dismiss anything. So, how do we feel about
You should
not
know when to
dismissing?
turn loose.
I know I should know when to turn
Oh,
loose.
but you'll hit yourself. That's not good. Because of Maze of Mirrors.
Oh.
Can you do it, Jean-Marc, if Maze of Mirrors is there?
Maybe not.
All right, so
Forgot
hang
about
on a
these
second.
things.
Hang on a second. Redirect the first damage dealt by a target. Oh, it's not first damage each turn.
It's per target. Per
Oh,
turn.
yeah. So, like, as much as I love Don't Dismiss Anything, I'm actually smart enough to know that that's not the best idea right now. All right, so you know what I might do? Well, yeah, I could know when to hold fast, but I might keep moving into another mortal form to energy, do 1 damage to myself, and then 1 damage to her. Anybody else have weighing in? John wants me to know when to hold fast. Anybody else have any thoughts? Nobody has any thoughts. All right, I'll know when to hold fast.
Supposed to think.
Keep moving.
This game's not about thinking.
Just play your best card. Come on. It's obvious.
Just play the best card ever.
All right, so there's more fuel for my holding fast, or excuse me, my turning loose. So if we can get rid of that Maze of Mirrors, that would be really super.
Oh yeah, this is excellent for Jen.
Right.
Yes.
It's going to work very well.
Yeah, and you don't want to send it to Setback. So
Yeah, Jesse C says, kids are a pretty good example of the dream too. Hardworking but rewarding. Amen to that. My kids are actually like finally becoming little people at this point. Like my daughter is an ice skater, and my son plays piano. My youngest daughter is a dancer. Like, so they have like things that they do out in the world that I can be like excited to go see. It's very awesome. Jean-Marc, you'll get there.
Yeah. I have a 2-year-old, but I still have tons of fun.
It's so fun watching them become people. Because, like, right now, they're basically like pets. You know, like at that age, 2 years old. Like, you gotta feed them. They sometimes make fun noises, but, like, there's no meaningful sort of, like, communication. But as they sort of turn from pets into little people, it is the coolest experience. I envy you to go through that again. It's so good.
I think we have slightly different perspectives on that.
I don't mean that is not a judgment. I want to be absolutely clear. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that as like, oh, they're just like a dog and you can put her down, blah blah blah, whatever. That's ridiculous. What I'm saying is, in terms of their interactions with you, like you feed them, you clean up after them, and that's it. But whereas a dog will stop and just stay a dog for the rest of its life. your little person will become a person and get better and better and better, and like, oh, it's so cool. The language acquisition phase was my absolute favorite thing ever with my kids. Like watching understanding begin to dawn in their eyes. Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my son's at that stage, and he'll repeat new words that I just said in the right context for the first time. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm sure people are going to quote me out of context. Your kid is a pet? Whatever. I don't care.
Let's see. Trying to think of what's not dangerous to use right now. Plucky Break, I guess I could use. I'll deal myself damage, but that's what Setback does.
Put another surprising fortune in.
Could, yeah. But,
or just to have something else to destroy if she destroys stuff.
Yeah. I think I'll Plucky Break.
That's definitely a soundbite for a future version of the intro to Sentinels Live. Something about how I think that kids are basically just pets.
Well, you can damage her now.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Feeling lucky, Setback?
Yeah. Right.
Hey!
Nemesis damage. I feel like that is the ultimate sort of like overstatement of Nemesis. It's like they used to date and they hate each other, and so they're nemesis.
Pete doesn't hate her.
I mean, he doesn't hate her, but he clearly deals more damage against her.
But like, that's not the relationship.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
She hates him enough for him to like. She hates him more than like the total of two people hating each other.
Right.
Normally. So it adds up. This can Maze of Mirrors. And the rest will just go. You probably don't want to remove tokens because you're going to take Nemesis damage.
Yeah, no, there's no need to.
Handelabra Games, did you lose the game of chess you mentioned the other week? If you're talking about a game of chess I played against my son, Xander, I have yet to lose. However, thrice he has gotten me to stalemate. So he's definitely learning, and I'm very excited about that. He kind of lost interest in chess, and now he's been playing Star Wars Battleship. So that's the one we've been playing since then, but I think he'll get back to it. I got him a book about basic chess strategy, so I'm hoping that he's going to want to dive into that, because the fact of the matter is if he reads even anything about basic chess strategy, he'll be able to beat me pretty quickly. Oh, I did not try out that Ministry song. Tell me again which song it was.
Alright, discard a card.
Guess I won't need any of them, really.
Well, I guess you wanted me to die. Thanks, Jean-Marc.
What? Oops. Sorry. Whoops, sorry.
Every day is Halloween. I'm going to write that down.
Role-playing here.
I think Setback would have saved Skyscraper.
Yeah, but he might have clicked the wrong button.
He probably would have clicked the wrong button. That's true. If he was playing Sentinels. Someone can use a power. Does that make sense? I guess I can let Absolute Zero heal via Maze of Mirrors, so I think that makes sense. She's at 7. Can we do it?
Oh, people are talking about.
Would get out of the way. It would be a lot easier.
she's hurting herself, but she's healing more, so...
Yeah. Come on, Scholar, you can do it.
So they're talking about accents in the chat, and actually that came up today because I said to Krista before the stream, I'm like, I'm going to run downstairs and get a soda so I can put it into my... And I like tripped over my words and I said my latka, and I meant vodka. And she was like, your latka? Is that like a latte vodka? And I was like, well, no, it's actually, the word latke actually literally means like a potato pancake in the Jewish tradition.
So you're gonna put it like soda in your instead of
exactly
another topping.
But what I meant was in my vodka. And then we had a conversation about this, how you say, proletariat villain theme song with the new lyrics. The words that this is singings of the Jean-Marc. Alright, what do I want to play here? Grace Under Fire is not going to do much.
It could let you do damage with Truth Seeker, though.
Yeah, that's true. If I Grace Under Fire now... Alright, so she's at 7. If I do...
Or you can play Flesh to Iron and then Truth Seeker and you won't hurt yourself.
Yeah. Do we have a plan for that Maze of Mirrors, or are we just sort of...
No one has a way to get rid of it now.
Yeah.
So there's no plan. Eventually Setback will destroy it. That's basically the plan.
Alright.
There's no other way to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically trapped in this maze of mirrors right now.
It's so thematic.
Yeah, it is. It's as if it was
I don't know
designed-
if there's...
Yeah, right.
Does the environment destroy any of its own cards? I don't think it does. I mean, the cards destroy themselves, but...
Yeah, Gone Without a Trace will destroy itself if there's too many attractions, but...
And, of course, Skyscraper can destroy environment cards, but someone let her get killed.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Thermal Shockwave. Yeah, Jennifer's winning the game for us.
Yeah, she's got it under control.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer has been, tonight so far, silent but deadly.
Yeah, you should shoot at the Talisman first so that you can hit Kismet.
Wait. The Talisman...
Yeah, you can rewind if you want.
And, yeah, like, do as much cold as you can, and then you'll have a big blast to hit.
Oh, yeah, I should rewind, so I... Yeah, I see what...
Say, yes, hit Setback. Or use a power, I guess, is where you want to go. Like, you want to do enough cold
Okay,
damage.
so I should hit the tail... Or
target
aim-
yourself first, and then Maze of Mirrors will, like, redirect it.
redirect it to myself. Yes, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Festas, are you in Milwaukee? I lived in Shorewood for like 3 years. That's just north of Milwaukee. Actually, my degree is from the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee.
And I would, yeah, definitely hit Setback, because that will power up your Thermal Shockwave. Well, you might not want to kill him. You should kill him.
Ouch!
You should kill him.
He just wants revenge. Don't listen to his stuff.
Oh wait, I don't want to kill myself. Oh, I have 17.
No, he has a. He's gonna come back to life. He's got a silver lining.
Yeah, so Festas, I lived in Shorewood. I worked at the Wauwatosa Mayfair Mall Apple Store and the P.F. Chang's there. That
Yay!
makes sense to you.
Go, Jen! You did all the damage.
Yes.
There it is! We did it!
Where'd she
Alright.
go? She's just a talisman now.
She's just a talisman now.
Disappeared.
She vibrated herself away into the ether. Alright, I don't think we're going to play a second game tonight because we did start an hour early. And we are only 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock, which is getting to be on the late side. So I think that is going to do it for another episode of Sentinels Live. Sentinels of the Multiverse is the only cooperative comic book card game that you should be playing. Tell your friends, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We do this every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, sometimes 6 if we have a listening party to do. But mostly it's at 7. If you enjoy the show, please do like, share, follow, and subscribe. Sentinels of the Multiverse is available on iOS, Android, as well as Steam, and always in good old analog cardboard and ink. And you can find more info and download the free demo at sentinelsdigital.com. I'm Jeremy. Joining me this evening was John. Say goodnight, John.
Good night. I think we should mention some calendar updates, though, before we sign off.
That is fine. I'll make sure to do that. Also joining me tonight is Jen.
Hello.
Cartoon
Good
Jen.
night.
Good night from Jen. Jean-Marc, our maestro.
Good night. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Right on. And as John mentioned, we do have a couple of date things to point out. Number one, Tales from the Archive this Saturday will not be happening. Tales from the Archive is taking a week off, so Zach can finish some school stuff. And next Thursday, June 22nd, is Villains of the Multiverse Day. So that will be the release date for Villains of the Multiverse across all platforms, Steam, iOS, and Android. That will be when you can get your hands on all the cool new stuff. Other dates that you think I should be mentioning, John, or was that the only one?
Well, Dolphins Dive is on Thursday.
Of course, yes. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Dolphins Dive. Next Wednesday, we're doing another developer stream at around 1 p.m. Eastern, most likely.
The 21st.
The 21st, thank you.
And on July 4th, we are going to be having a special live stream.
That's right. Tell us about it, John. I want to take a sip.
Yeah, so we're going to post something on our blog about this probably tomorrow. But we are planning to have a Legacy Independence Day Spectacular as featured, I think, on Inspiring Presence or another card.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea there is going to be we're going to be doing a call for people to send us pictures of you doing Legacy cosplay, whichever Legacy you want, or whether it's original Legacy or past, present, or future Legacies.
Or Iron Legacy.
Iron Legacies, Legacies from another multiverse or timeline.
Indeed.
Bring it on. What do you got? Send us your photos, and we will feature them on the stream, and we will probably have some special guests on who are Legacies. So watch it for our blog and social media this week for more news about that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be July 4th, 3 weeks from now.
3 weeks from now. Yeah, you can post it to our Twitter or Facebook. You can email it to us. You can at support, or I guess feedback at Handelabra.com. It will be True Legacy Day. Alrighty. So thanks, everybody. I'm Jeremy, and that was John and Jean-Marc and Jennifer. If anybody missed the earlier part of the stream with the listening party, that will be up on our YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you people. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.